Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this programme here. I'm out here in Scariff. I'm in Scariff Bay Community Radio. I'm Clare TV. My name is Nicholas Rynne, and I'm with Michael McNamara. Mike Mac, as he's famously known, a legend here in County Clare from his time with the Clare team as a coach in that great era in the 90s when we were the leading lights. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you.
Mike, I'm just going to start off by, you were involved in 95 when the breakthrough really, we made the breakthrough in 95, and in 97 we won the All-Ireland again. We were lucky in 96, 3 months of titles. This is the week leading up to the big Cork game, big championship game, opening round. Things have changed slightly. It's not to be all in end all if you don't win your first round, but it's very important just the same, Mike.
Yes, we'll be expecting a performance maybe first on the first day. We haven't shown anything since the All Ireland, which wouldn't be unusual for the people involved. Their heads are in the ground now at the moment. There's an air of what word I put, an air of maybe doom a little. As the manner in which Cork won some couple of weeks ago in QC Park put people wondering are we in this hunt at all. So that's to be overcome. I myself would personally think they've hit it right. They've got rest, you must heal, and you must start again, and that's what you have to do, particularly with now there's so many matches. In 95 when we won the All-Ireland, we had only 4 matches to play. So you could pick and choose, As well as that, now we have subs coming on and going off, and sometimes even upsetting. But it's now a 25, 26 man game, and all will be used and all unnecessary. If you look at the Cork team, for example, you can see that their type of game now means that they will be bringing on at least 6 or 7 of those players. And would that leave us short in Ennis? I wonder. Remember, we had our last day with Cork was in Croke Park, an important day, and we used our subs very wisely and finished up with quite a number of we call them the subs. So they're not really subs anymore. They're waiting for the call, and when that call comes, we must be ready.
Yeah, they hit subs in Croke Park. Absolutely, worked a treat for us. Doom and gloom, which in certain quarters I've been to all the league games. And like yourself, I'm not surprised that they haven't played. They turned it on against Limerick and they beat Limerick in the Gaelic grounds, and I think that was a measure of just to see have we still got it in the tank. But they didn't really turn up against Cork. No, you could argue Cork didn't let them turn up, but I don't think they win for the league, and obviously in any way, shape or form. I suppose the problem is, can we just lift it on Sunday when we haven't produced it? But they seem to produce it against Limerick, and I think they give that game just to see what we have.
Yes, there's mind games being played now as well, as you can appreciate, and the teams at this stage. When you have a close look at them, you would wonder if that's the team that's gone out at all. Cork in particular looks to be star-studded, but they can only play 15 at any given time. Clare appear to be holding back a lot, maybe, for the bigger days, and the bigger days have arrived. So now we have the clash of, can you turn it on like we hope that Clare do, or can you move on as Cork hope to do?
Yeah. The narrative in the media, I'm disappointed with the media because they're not really talking about the game, they're not talking about the matchups or any of that. They're just talking, like the big talk is about Shane O'Donnell. Shane O'Donnell isn't playing, full stop. You can't talk about Shane O'Donnell now. It's lovely to hear about Shane O'Donnell. We all know what a huge loss he is. But the match itself, the media seem to want Cork to win. They seem to think that a win for Cork is going to be good for hurling. I can't see that. Why would you? I would rather see Waterford win the All-Ireland than Cork win the All-Ireland, and nothing against Cork, but if you want to make the game good. But they seem to forget that Clare are the All-Ireland champions. It's
I'm not sure you're happy about that Cork team at all, in fact, but the Shane O'Donnell incident, for all good managers and all good teams, they move on. That's for the media. That's what the media gets stuck in. Some players, they need headlines. They need fill newspapers, and Shane O'Donnell would be an ideal thing. But that's not in the mind of management or team. That I can assure you that they've moved on from that. When he comes back, it's be a bonus. Some of the rugby legends say you move on.
Yeah.
You move on. That's what you have your planning for. That's what you're training for.
Exactly.
That's why we brought on 6 or 7 people in Croke Park and done the biz. Maybe a little bit lucky, but I've been involved in a lot of matches, and I've been lucky in some and unlucky. But the luck spread itself out a bit.
Yes, indeed. I'd say 95, 97 you were involved. This week now is a big week for Brian Lohan and the lads there on the backroom team. What will their focus be this week? Obviously they're going to ease off, and they have eased off in training.
I think his focus will be slightly different than last year, because the last year we had the general public saying, well, he's there 5 years now, so he's there 6 now, and he's going to be there for a few more, I certainly hope. He's an incredible man, and I had the privilege of being working with him for a couple of years, and an incredible man, and we're very, very proud of him and his team and what he's bringing to the county, and it's discreetly, no fuss. You don't see Brian in any highlights. He's just a marvellous fellow, and a marvellous manager, and a marvellous servant of Clare.
I suppose if there was ever a born winner, you were a winner yourself, Mike, and we know that Loughnane was a winner on several lads, but if there was ever a born winner, I think it's Brian Lohan. Defeat doesn't come into his mind at all.
Yeah, I suppose you must have the leaders, and you must have the people who follow on. Brian is definitely a good leader. He's a very astute backroom team now, as we know. And in fact, Gerard once said that the 95 selected, they gelled, he said, remember. We gelled, he said, and we were as one. So that's the secret of success is D-Day up the road. Yeah. You must perform on D-Day. There's no good performing the day after, the week before. So,
yeah. When I looked out at this Cork team, and I'm looking for a weakness, obviously being a Clareman, I see the weakness if it's there. I thought Owen Downey struggled in the All-Ireland last year, and he struggled against Clare, even though they won the game. He struggled on Peter Duggan, and his 2 cornerbacks aren't light and fast either. Would that be the area where Clare might get traction from?
Again, when we talk about that, you must go back to Brian Lohan or this one. Brian has he got his match plan perfectly last year up in Croke Park at the final, exactly as one would have wished to, going to open down from heaven, as it said. So you never know with a player. All my life I've been involved in hurling and sport, but particularly the hurling end of it. And you never know. The man you'd be worried about, the left corner back or something, would almost always have a stormer. And the man you need about midfield is probably made a little bit down in the dumps under there. So I would always say, and we always said, the fella that sits in under pressure for it, you don't have to look in his direction at all in that match day. He comes up trumps almost always.
Almost always, yeah. That's a good one, all right, yeah. Well, where would you see us winning the game if we were to win this game?
Well, Tactics won the game last year. The last meet we had with them was in Croke Park, which is the only day we can talk about. The Tactics on the day won it. If the Tactics come off, and you can snuff maybe 1 or 2 of the faster fellas and maybe marginalise them, and I don't think you're going to see a gap up the middle of the field like we saw the last we've seen in most of Cork's league games. They're relying on going straight up the middle of the field. I can't see that. With the type of players we have out there around, I don't see that being a major problem on the day. So now that's there. So we're smoking a row now, and that would be, I suppose, that's what we would be looking for, and that's if that type of what word am I looking for? If that type of performance, I suppose, you can plan. And the best plans, of course, on the day you never know what happens. Your top player can be gone after 2 minutes with a broken finger. You never know a player put off. There's always twists and turns in championship hurling, and I suppose that's what makes it so vibrant and so great, and make us wish that we were bring it on fast. I'd have not so much like yourself, but I'd have no particular affections for Cork and the years of treatment they gave us, but. We've taken back now. They've had a look at their own camp force, and while they're swaying and swagging around the place, I think underneath that there's a worry that last year's was the one they had to win, but they didn't win it though.
They didn't win it, and the feeling before last year's All-Ireland final is very similar to this match next Sunday, where it's Cork's game to lose almost. And I'm very surprised at Cork, who have been down through the years since I've been going to matches. Cork have always played it very cute and very clever, and wouldn't allow media stuff to go so far as it's going. I actually rang a friend of mine from Cork City, it'd be Sean McGrath's father, is a friend of mine, and I just said to him, why don't you just come up and collect the cup? It's ready and waiting for you. And that seems to be the mood coming out of Cork. It's surprising a bit.
Yeah, some might say a lot of people, including myself, on the line up in Croke Park on that marvellous day, would have been the same. Cork were gone; they were only there waiting for another goal, another point, and we take the cup home. And thanks, lads.
Yeah.
And as I say, I would have no particular love for them, but it shows that there is a weakness there. It shows, and that comes to the top.
Yeah. You mentioned there, and I think you were spot on there when you said about the gap up the middle against in the league game when we played them in Innis. In the league final, Tipperary, you would imagine would have come with their best show, but there was a gap completely up the middle there as well. Like that gap, as you say, is going to be closed come Sunday. So Cork have found the gaps with Clare and with Tipperary in the league final. But those gaps aren't going to be there, and that's the likes of Conor Cleary, John Conlon, Conor Lean and Adam Hogan there. Obviously, we're hoping that Nicholas Rynne will be fit. He's a valuable cog to have, and
he'll be unbelievable. In fact, he could be the key to this now. If he comes on, I think we'll all have a sigh of relief in Cusack Park if he comes on. But the trend in Cork, of course, has to be that we haven't won well in 10, and pressure comes on, and they put the pressure on themselves, and they're not, in my opinion, they're not strong enough to wear that mantle of champions, because they're not champions, and I can have very difficult to see that will change the weekend. I can't see that changing.
Yeah. I suppose the big change that Cork have made, they've put Darren Fitzgibbon, they've taken him out in midfield. He was hurled out of it by Malone, by Cathal Malone last year in the All-Ireland final. Now they have put him in centre forward, and the idea is that they're going to try and open a channel down through the middle. But I don't see that working for them either, because as I just named, the three boys in the half-back line aren't going to allow that to happen.
Yeah, we can believe anything we see now, and anything we hear, and anything we read for the next couple of days. At the end of the day, if Clare perform as they can, they have one thing that Cork don't have. We have 30 men in Cusack Park on Sunday, and they are men that Clare to improve themselves through all sorts of days and nights and bad days and good days, and they prove themselves when the pressure came on. They were men, and that'll come to the fore again on Sunday.
Absolutely. We got a big game out of Mark Rogers, the local boy here in the All-Ireland. He was superb. His brilliant goal, I think, was somewhat overlooked by the fact that Tony Kelly got an absolutely brilliant goal. But Mark Rogers had a fantastic year last year. He's key to us this year. He's the man, I think, to really.
Well, they're all key. The reason we won the All-Ireland was that everybody played a part, and a big one. That was the key first. Yes. So we'll be depending on all the marks that's out there to come up with the goods, and we have at last maybe found superstars, and he would be one. We don't really talk much about the players the week of the match, but he's a natural. Yeah,
and you say the week of the match. In your day, Mike, when you were the coach of the team, that was a huge thing to be the coach of the team. You got 30 lads. Some of them introverts, some of them extroverts, some of them maybe a little bit cracked or whatever. Like, you had to deal with them all. How do you deal with a team of players like that, and how do you get them ready for a big championship game?
Well, you can show them the future. The future depends on them, not Mike Mack, the coach, or Gerard, the leader. They have to eventually do it themselves, and they have to want to. So you make the path, and you make the road, and you make your way until you get together. Some marvellous men, they were always there. I can remember I was away for a while. I should come back to the matches, and I used to say that they're there, the players are there. Why don't you get them ready, whatever has to be taken? Because we were equally as good as all the cocks back all the years. But we seem to have a problem in the last 10 minutes. It just go away from us for some reason. But that's if you had to fall in line that time, you have to fall in line now as well. And that line is like catching a trout. It'll snap if you don't prepare for whatever happens, whatever hits you, whatever comes at you. You must be able to stand up to it.
Yeah. The game has changed. It obviously keeps evolving. The game, all games do, But I was talking to Seamus Durek recently, and I mean that team hit more heartbreak than any Clare team ever, I think. But he said that he often gets asked this question: Did you regret not winning a Munster championship? And he said what his answer was: so when he was playing hurling, they loved the game. They really enjoyed it, and they had great fun. The players themselves had great fun. I could go up to Tulla after a league game that time, and I could walk into and meet Jackie O'Gorman or Noel Casey up in John Minogue's. Like, you can't do that today. The players are just. I don't even meet my own neighbours.
No, yes, that board has flown. It's just now total and complete preparation, and there's no difference really, except it's a different way of doing it. It's the same thing, it's the same training, it's the same men, it's the same power, it's the same everything. So when it steps up a little, which it did, then you have to demand that to man that ship as well.
Yeah, it's just the change in times, I suppose. But looking at the 4 games, I mean, they're going to come fast and thick. There's going to be 4 games within 5 weeks, I think. We'll have Waterford straight on the heels of this one. And going down to Dungarvan, I think we're going to. It's going to be, or maybe it's in Waterford City, but it's going to be a tall order as well. Either way, if you win going down, it'll go down in a different manner. But if you don't get the win, so that Waterford game is going to be a tricky one as well.
Yeah, well, that's the prize now. The prize at the top now. We prepare ourselves for whatever it takes and whatever is necessary, and. That's going to take a mighty have to come away with a couple of wins. But we did it last year. We had a few problems along the way, and we sorted them out and got back on track again. So it's going to be twists and turns. It's going to be, as I said, by put off, your top players maybe put off, referees' decisions, penalties. Everything changes, and there's going to be some twists and turns between now and 6 weeks' time when we hope to be hitting for Munster final territory.
Yeah, well, most pundits are saying, some I couldn't believe one pundit, but most of them are saying that if they're pushed, whose 3 will come out of Munster. Most people are saying Cork first, Clare, Cork first, maybe Limerick second, and Clare third. I suppose it doesn't matter what order we get there, so long as you get in that top 3.
Oh, we'll come in the back door, the top door, whatever doors we had.
We didn't come in the back door when you were on, Mike.
I know, the straight run, that's it's smoother. We had our friends at Tipperary to thank for they guided us up along the road and things. So.
It did indeed. But would that be your top 3 for Munster?
I would say at this stage there's no top 3. I would find it very, very difficult to know what's 3. What is vital, of course, for us, it's very simple, is that we're one of the top 3, and that we're one of the top 3 in a vital time. Yeah. So after that, anything can happen. I'd be surprised if Waterford don't come with a good run. They were nearly there for the last couple of years. They come up tennis. There was 3 years ago, and they played a smashing Brenda Hurling. The rows after it, and Tip have whether the new boys are good enough or not. They're into a new team, a new era for Tip, and I'm not sure they're quite ready yet. But Tip is Tip. Want to challenge, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. Waterford. I suppose they're one team. I remember watching Waterford around the time we were going really well in the 90s, and in the late 90s, Waterford came with a team. I thought to watch them hurling was just they were superb, but they just haven't been like ourselves maybe back in the 70s. They just don't seem to be able to get over the line in the bigger games.
It's amazing because that team with the McGraths and all those lads, Dan the man and all that, they came with marvellous players and marvellous. It contributed incredibly to hurling. Didn't make the breakthrough. Got to the final. Arguably should have won it, but they didn't. So that's the challenge down the road. If you take your foot off the accelerator, you'll pay a big price.
You pay the price, yeah. Yeah. Looking outside of Munster, Kilkenny looked like the team to beat, and Galway I suppose Galway are in transition, and like Tipperary as well a bit, having their manager back again.
I'm not sure are Galway in transition or not. Galway are a very unusual side.
Yeah.
I had them in All Ireland in was it 2000 or 2001, and basically they couldn't be beaten. They were that good, but Galway did the Galway on it and opted out. And when the pressure came on, it was easier to step out than step in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what would you think of Kilkenny's chances though? They haven't been, we knocked them out last year. They haven't been able to beat Limerick.
I think all the Cornies now and all them lads have to step up to the mark now. At this stage, they're bumming around there, starting to look like a team, and then hoping the big lads can win it again. As was the case last year. So all them young players didn't perform at all, and you must perform at All Ireland semi-final in Croke Park. Gee, it's a mecca. Wouldn't you train all your life to be a sub?
Absolutely, absolutely you would.
And they stepped off the plate last year, particularly thankfully maybe, and didn't fulfil. And I can't see him being any good. Any good isn't the right word. I can't see him improving an awful lot from that.
Yeah. I left Kildamore there a while ago. I'm a Kildamore man. I live in Aina now, but I always get the feeling when I'm going over to Scariff. I pass Tulla, I pass Bodyke, I pass Tumgraney, and come into Scariff. I always feel I'm in hurling country when I come here for some reason. I suppose all the stories I heard when I was a child from my father and mother, and that East Clare hurling is going really well now, and I'm not putting a divide or anything, but I'm just saying that like Scariff are going really well, under 21 champions, Fecal out the road there winning the senior after so many years, and I think Clare hurling will always need East Clare to be going well. And you can join that still with the other teams. Yeah,
I was coming out of the match last year, Scariff and someone, I can't be from Tulla, and some fellow just caught me by the sleeve and he said, Mike, it's great to see Scariff going. We were waiting for you to come. Yes. They've been waiting 50 years or something like that, but we contested along the way, and I contested the show myself poorly.
Yes.
I would be looking back with regrets maybe at some of the decisions I made or didn't make maybe, but that's the joy of sport. It's no good making the mistake on Monday. You're making it on Sunday, and it can be very costly. But it's marvellous to see it. If we could get a run, maybe get them all in sometime, and maybe meet Feet in the county final, and that would be. That would be a big news, because we'd probably have to bring it to Thurles.
That's one I definitely would pay any field in for sure.
But having said, in case I forget it, they were marvellous Fecal last year. They were absolutely marvellous from the start to the finish, and they finished it up in Cusick Park in a befitting the occasion. They were marvellous. I'm really delighted for them, and it's East Clare, they're one of our own, and we take them on when we can, but in the meantime, the best of luck to them.
Absolutely, they were marvellous in the way they played in the final, the very manly way they went about winning that final, and they're going to be forced to be reckoned with now. But
you're right, see the players coming through from East Clare, it isn't the club, the players are coming through, you know, and the work that's been done is marvellous. absolutely marvellous. The work's been done on underage hurling all over this Clare. It is marvellous.
And that's why the stems too, and the run to Tulla ahead in the Tulla school in the Hart, winning the Harty Cup really
right,
put an injection of life into it. There's always been great hurlers in East Clare, and I had the pleasure of playing with a good few lads there, mostly from Whitegate when I was in London, playing with those lads, and they always brought an edge to Mickey Burke. Was one of the toughest men I ever played with, and the Hineses and the Hayeses and the Solons and all those guys were brilliant hurlers to play alongside, and great friends of mine today. So I as I said, I always like coming over this side of the county, and you feel it real. You can talk. I could go into any shop in Scariff or pub, and I could talk about hurling, and I'd be talking to the right people.
Yeah, that's the way we are. We're like 95. We're waiting for the day. So it might be so far away that we'll be up if it's at Cannon Hampton.
Yeah.
And all the players and the old players, and it never dies. It never dies.
No, never. Exactly. It never dies, and tradition will never die. It'll always be there, and there might be lulls for many years, but the tradition will always.
Yeah, it'll come through. It'll always come. The cream comes to the top, to say.
It does. So I think we're coming nearly to the end. Like, I just want to say, like, it's great to be standing in front of you're one of my heroes for what you did in 95 and 98. I remember in 96 we were in the June Ray final, and you came up to our pitch for a couple of sessions, and I was glad it was only a couple of sessions because I was about 36 or 7 years of age at that stage. But your presence drove us on in that final, even just to have you up there. Kevin Keane was instrumental in getting you up, and
yes, I got a nice mirror from yourself and your teammates, and it's hanging proudly in the wall.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We had a great night up in your pub. After that, we brought the cup over. But as I said, it's fantastic to talk to you, Mike. Is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, that's really. I need to make sure that they don't take any step back. Which was that change in 95, no step back, and there's still no step back. And we're proud of what they're doing, and all they have to do is play well.
Yeah.
That's all. Your good players must play well if you're going to win a game. Everything else is a bonus, but your good players must play well, and we have thankfully consistently players playing well, and on the big days when they want us.
I passed just the last thing. I passed Cusick Park today, and there's work going on in there today, and I just want to compliment the county board and the chief executive for the work they do. There's a huge crowd going to turn up on Sunday, and everything is being put in place, from the secretary to the chairman, the whole everybody involved, and all the stewards have been contacted, and they're all turning up on Sunday. So we can't have games without those people, and I think we have to acknowledge their great work.
Yes, sir, it's our county grounds. It's our home in many ways. I was nearly 50 when I won the junior medal up there. I think I was the only one in the field that could run the same day, but it's our county. The management and the staff in Cusick Park have always been exceptional, and even at this late time when we'll be looking for a little throw-in, car pass or something, they might be there. If you come on the right person, you might. Or you mightn't.
Absolutely. Mike Mack, a pure legend, and it's great to get your insight into the game and into what's coming ahead of us, and there's great food for thought there. This is my first interview here at Scariff Bay Radio, and I don't think I could have started with a better man, and I don't think I'll get a better man down the line for sure, Mike, and thanks very much, Mike.
Thank you indeed, and we all wish the weekend goes as it should. As I say, if they play well, they'll win that match, and that's a big ask, but they're men. They're men.
We're very proud of them. They're our Ireland champions.
They're men, yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay.